I cannot keep all these things.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not involved much in that part of it.
Understand.
It's not that expensive.
Okay. Yeah, and also I'm curious if you have any thoughts about how can charities and nonprofits and NGOs do a better job at being transparent. Do you have any thoughts on like how can that be done better?
Well, since we've been through periods when we weren't as transparent as we should have been, I know how important it is. We're very transparent now. The biggest JGI is the American one, and that's where most of the money for Africa comes from, although the other JGIs are picking up now. And transparency these days, I think, is increasingly important because the public's becoming more sophisticated. They're asking the right questions.
Yeah, got it. And you're vegetarian. How much of an impact does it make to be a vegetarian?
It actually makes, when many people become vegetarian, it makes a huge difference for animal welfare. Of course it does, when you think of the factory farms.
Yeah.
But also to feed the billions of animals that are now being slaughtered for meat each year, billions.
Yeah.
They need to be fed. So environments are destroyed to grow the grain. Huge areas are literally just growing grain, using mostly agricultural pesticides and herbicides. Lots of fossil fuel to get the grain to the animals to the abattoir, the meat to the table. And huge waste of water, changing vegetable to animal protein. And on top of that, you get the misuse of antibiotics so that the bacteria are building up resistance, because the animals in these awful places are fed antibiotic routinely just to keep them alive. And so the bacteria are building up resistance. People have already died from a scratch on a finger. You get these, what they're calling superbugs.
Got it. With regards to the programs that are running in Goodall Institute, Singapore, like studying langurs and like protecting macaques, how different are they from the programs that you were involved in?
Well, Gombe is still continuing. We have a research station there, and we study chimpanzees, but also baboons and monkeys. So the studies of the macaques are done in a similar way, like everywhere now.
Yeah.
The problem of the conflict between people and animals, particularly the monkeys, but also the bush pigs, we have those in other places too. So the hope is actually to bring together people who are involved in this kind of problem solving together, maybe here in Singapore, to share, successes and failures and try and come up with good ideas. So I want to see a competition for a monkey-proof litter bin.
Okay.
And I want to see really tough fines for people who are seen feeding monkeys, because the big conflict is over food.
Right.
And people are feeding them.
Right. Can you share more about this? Because what is the context of?
Well, the context is that some people are living very close to a national park.
Yes.
People go into the national park and they meet the dear little monkeys and they think, they'd like some bananas. They give them bananas.
Okay.
The monkeys then become fond of bananas.
Yes.
So then they may see tourists who are not planning to feed them, but have some bananas. So they'll raid them.
Yeah.
Somebody might get hurt.
Yeah.
And then gradually they'll move out into the houses bordering the park and start searching for bananas.
Yeah.
And if they manage to be successful, they'll start getting too much easy food, eating less of their own food, and they can, their weight goes up, and that means they'll probably have more babies. So then you're artificially inflating a population while their own environment is getting less because of development. So you've got a crazy situation.
So,
And I think one of the key ways that we can try and address it is, to really impose fines on people. And that's why I want to see a competition for a monkey-proof litter bin. Because I've been in a national park, and there was a group of school children, and they were very good. They ate their picnic lunch, and they went to the litter bin and put their waste into the litter bin. And the monkeys were just sitting waiting. And as soon as the children had gone, they went and just took out all the food and ate it. So a monkey-proof litter bin would be, they have tried, but they haven't yet got a successful one.
Okay. Yeah, that would be quite interesting challenge to participate in.
And it could be a big media thing.
I think so. That's great.
A nationwide competition.
Like global competition. Let's see which country comes up with the best.
Well, let's just start here.
Let's just start small. Great. Richard, how much time do we have? About 2 minutes. Okay. Another question. Hypothetically, if we had a time machine, and you could take that time machine and go back to your young self when you were 23 and offer yourself an advice or a tip, and you had 1 minute, what would you say to yourself?
Well, actually, I would, what my mother said to me when I wanted to go to Africa is you have to work hard, take advantage of opportunity and never give up.
Yeah.
And I can't think of any better advice to give myself than what my mother gave me.
That's a great piece of advice.
I take it all around the world, and the number of people, adults, who've come up to me and said, I really want to thank you because you taught me that because you did it, I can do it too.
That's great.
Because we didn't have any money when I was growing up. I had to work as a waitress for my fare. People always think I could go out, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
We had second-hand clothes and second-hand books or books from libraries. So it wasn't that easy. I had to work to get to Gombe.
Yeah.
I think it's very important for young people too to realize that they may not get directly to their goal, but they should keep the goal in their sights. So I had to go through secretarial course, getting various jobs, and then came the letter from a school friend, there's the opportunity.
Yeah.
And because I went on reading books about Africa, like my mother said, and spending hours in the Natural History Museum, that meant when the opportunity came, I worked as a waitress, saved up money, got to Africa, heard about Louis Leakey, went to see him, and he was impressed because I could answer most of his questions about animals.
Yeah.
And also I'd had to do that terribly boring secretarial because there was no money for university. And his secretary had suddenly left and he needed a secretary. So it was, in hindsight you don't...
Luck is preparation meets opportunity.
Yes.
So you were prepared to
and
take that.
some of it, the reading and the natural history, that was me. The secretarial was just circumstances.
Yeah.
No money for university.
Yeah.
And it turned out it was the best thing I could have done.
Yeah.
It readied me for Louis Leakey. And he didn't want somebody with a scientific education.
Right.
He said he wanted a mind uncluttered by scientific bias.
Wow. What was the main lesson you learned while you were working with Louis Leakey? Like, what did you take from that experience?
What I took was that he was a very difficult man. He set his sights. He knew he was going to find human fossils in Olduvai Gorge. All the other paleontologists poo-pooed it, and they said these round stones, which he and his wife were sure were human stone tools. They said no, they're just water wall. But he carried on, so he too was insistent.
Yeah.
And he had to be insistent to get money for me, this untrained girl, to go and study chips. And it was hard work for him, but he never gave up.
Great, thank you so much. And I would just end on that note. I think you're inspiration to me and to so many people we know, and it's because you have through your work and through your wisdom shared with us that anything is possible. You have to work hard.
But I think we should end with one last thing, because a lot of people are very aware of the problems on the planet,
Yes.
but they feel helpless.
Yes.
And, you know, what can I do?
Yes.
And the important thing is that main message of Roots and Tubes, that every individual makes a difference every day, and we have a choice as to what kind of difference we're going to make. And if we make small, even small ethical choices in what we buy, where did it come from, how was it made, was the making harming the environment, cruelty to animals, child slave labor, you know, what do we eat?
Yeah.
Why do what can vegetarianism do? And if I just do it, it doesn't make any difference. But if 1,000 and then 1 million and